We are back, people. Welcome back to the channel. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. I hope you're all doing well. Enjoying bank holiday weekend. The sun has been back out, but only in certain areas of the country. I was speaking to someone earlier up in Manchester saying it's still raining. So it's been beautiful where I am. I hope you're all enjoying your weekend, and I hope you're looking forward to tomorrow off as well, for those of you that are off anyway. Great weekend of football as far as Arsenal are concerned. We're here to talk all about Arsenal and Aston Villa. And, of course, we're going to talk about the news of Eddie Nketiah, Fabio Vieira and Aaron Ramsdale. They are all looking like they could be on the move, but not to Nottingham Forest as far as Eddie Nketiah is concerned. We're going to be talking about that and much more from yesterday's action. To join me to do that is, of course, Lee Judges, and we have got Adrian back on the show. Adrian, how are you, mate?
Yeah, very good, Dan. Thanks again for letting us come on. Yeah, good weekend. Very, very happy.
Anytime, man. You know you're welcome. And Russ, Hoggy, it's been too long, man. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, foot's on the mend. I'm not limping so much now.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad, mate. That's the main thing. And
Yeah.
last time I saw you, I don't know if it was your foot that was too bad or your head from all the alcohol, mate. So, you know, it's one of those, isn't it?
It was a busy day. It was a bit busy.
It was busy, mate. It was busy, but
it was emotional. It was emotional. The first game back. Yeah.
It was emotional, and it was good to see you, mate, as always. Yeah. Lee, different surroundings, mate. How you doing? All right?
Yeah, all good. So, you know, just hopefully, sorry, a bit late, but the internet was cracking up. So hopefully it'll last. Is it going all right? Because your echoes, is it all right?
Yeah, there's a little bit of an echo, but I'll see if I can try and sort that. But yeah, mate, it's all going good as far as I'm concerned. So we'll crack on with the show. Listen, before we go into the Aston Villa game, because I know, Lee, you were there and we all watched it, I want to talk about this news about Eddie Nketiah, because it looks as if the news has broken by David Ornstein that Nottingham Forest and Eddie is off. The talks have broken down. The bid was accepted of 30 million plus. Arsenal and Nottingham Forest were happy, but Eddie has decided to reject Nottingham Forest because Forest weren't prepared to pay him enough a week. Now, I said this was going to be a problem. When I said that Marseille, we should have accepted it, it's because Eddie was accepting the personal terms and he was happy to go. Nottingham Forest are clearly not giving him what he wants. He's on 100k a week, which I said was a mistake, by the way, when we give him that much, because no one else was going to. So Eddie's obviously got a little bit big for his boots and thinks now that he's going to go and earn 100k somewhere else, wherever he goes. And that ain't going to be the case. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, Aid, but I do think that this could be a bit of a problem with both Reece and Eddie that are on 100k a week for them to get the moves that they potentially deserve in terms of first team football. But who's going to pay him 30 million pounds and 100k a week? There's going to be a lot of money for a team. So this is why I said that Marseille, who agreed personal terms with him, clearly offered him near enough that, but couldn't then afford the wages of him. This is a flip reverse now with Forest, who have said, we'll give you the fee, Arsenal, but we ain't giving him 100k a week. It looks like Marseille were the other way around. We ain't giving you 30, but we'll give Eddie 100k a week. So now we're at the square one again. Now it looks like Crystal Palace are interested as well. A loan with an obligation of 25 million, and they're probably going to put him on the wages he wants. So I imagine Eddie will definitely go. But this is a madness with 5 days left, Adrian, isn't it?
Oh, we spoke about it last week, didn't we, about the stumbling blocks for Nketiah, because there are teams in the Premier League that could do with that sort of player, especially also in the middle half of the table. But I think we spoke about it when he was given this 5-year deal on 100k a week, that if it didn't work out for him, because I think what Arteta was probably thinking is that, he's going to make progress and he, could possibly become our number one, maybe number two striker, but it hasn't worked out that way. And then unfortunately, now, we're so good defensively now, but again, we talk about it every week, don't we? From last season and the beginning of this, and maybe even from yesterday's game, that we do need a caliber of striker that's going to get the goals in the big games. And unfortunately, Eddie isn't that person. He's dropped off and he's not become the player that I think Arteta wanted him to become. But you've got to ask questions of the club that they're giving him that amount of money, because clearly we've had 2 deals for him now that could have gone across the line and haven't, because of various reasons to do with money, whether it's wages or whether it's the fee. So I do agree with you. I think he will go, but it'll be on a loan and then an obligation to buy, rather than, if we can get money through the door now, we can hopefully reinvest that and get Osman or Gorkaeris, I think I said it right. I might have said it wrong, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a shame. And I feel for him, because I want Eddie to play, but he's got only himself to blame here, isn't he? If he's saying 75 75k a week, and he's likely going to play every week rather than, you know, a 25k drop. He's young enough to be able to go to another club, prove himself, and get a bigger move elsewhere anyway. But yeah, it's a pain, isn't it, really?
It is, and it needs to get sorted. Russ, I don't know what your thoughts are about this. Palace look like they're interested, but it's all this loan with an obligation all the time because of PSR, Russ.
Yeah, the something's got to give, isn't it? The valuation and the wages don't add up. Apparently, Marseille was his dream move, and his negotiating team was a bit pissed off that that they wouldn't come down on the selling price so he could get his wages. So it's a balancing act, isn't it, between the wages and the transfer fee. Now they've agreed the transfer fee for us, and said no to the wages. So if we want to shift him, we've got to reduce the transfer fee. It's as simple as that. It's getting too late now. We've got to bite the bullet and reduce it. He's overvalued, in my opinion, at 30 million anyway. In what universe is he worth 30 million? Just if Emil Smith-Rowe's worth 35 million and hits the ground running at Fulham instantly, then I don't see how Eddie's worth 30. Just don't. Didn't make any impact. He's going to end up ruining his career. He's going to end up thrown on the scrap heap if he's not very careful. This attitude of wanting the money in front of playing time, it don't leave a very good taste in the mouth, does it? And
No.
you're right what you say. The manager, or whoever negotiated, or whoever insisted on signing him for that £100,000 a week needs to be able to account, because I understand that they had to offer that to get him to sign because he'd run out of time on his contract. He was going to become a free agent and he was going to go for nothing, etc. But when you're shelling out $5 million a year, how long does it take before the sell-on has gone out of the equation anyway? Because you're still expending money on the man. You're not playing. So I hate talking about finances, but it's just frustrating to me that this hasn't been done at the beginning of the window, not when we're getting down towards the end again. We're holding out for too much money at the end of the day, and when we're negotiating the other way round, we're bartering to the bitter end to reduce the money. So something's got to give somewhere. We've got to start paying the money at the other end and perhaps not take as much as we'd like. You can't have it both ways, can you? You can't overvalue a player your end and then undervalue a player the other end when they're coming in. People want what they want. We want what we want, but he's not banging in goals, is he? He's not an asset to us. So he's going to end up wasting his career, in my opinion. He's going to end up throwing himself on the scrap heap. He could just sit in our reserves, couldn't he, for the next 3 years? So
yeah, he could. And Lee, I'll come to you on this because me and Harry Simia were having this debate. I think James on AFTV was talking about it as well. And Tom Canton was saying he was really pleased that we rejected Marseille more money for him. Well, it looked like Edu and Arteta pulled off a masterclass. And I don't actually point the fingers at these two this time. This is all on Eddie, because Arteta and Edu managed to get 32 million for him. Eddie's saying, no, that ain't on Arteta and Edu. Eddie's got to agree to go to this club and be happy on the wages. The way I see it, Lee, and real talk is Marseille, I would have been happy to accept that. And I'll tell you why. Emil Smith-Rowe, Russ makes a good point, was £35 million all in. Eddie Nketiah was £27 million all in. I think that sounds about right. I don't know why we didn't just accept it and then we could have moved on and then we could have tried to get this player in. I'm the same with Reece Nelson, loan on to Leicester with an obligation of £15 million. I don't think Reece Nelson has played anywhere near enough minutes to demand £30 million, £25 million for him. No. That's about right. Let's get this money in and then we move on. That's the way I see it, Lee. I don't know where you're at.
Yeah, well, listen, with Nelson, I think it's because we're short. I think now he'll stay, whatever happens. I don't think we've got enough cover in all positions, so I think he'll stay. But listen, at the end of the day, Eddie's on a contract. It's his prerogative to turn it down. By the way, he's on a contract. He don't have to agree to it. And what I think will happen is that the club will have to pay him off a little bit, give him a couple of £1 million to go. I think that's what will happen. So, listen, he's at this moment in time, he's in the right position for the money side of it because that's what it is. But on the playing side, that's the thing. He ain't going to get playing. Listen, 2 games gone. He ain't got a sniff, is he? So for me, if he wants to play, he leaves. If he wants the money, he's going to stay.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if he wants the money, he's going to stay. But I think we'll be in a real bad position here. And I don't know what I'll open this as a question to the panel. I don't care who answers it. Was this a good decision to put Nelson and Eddie on 100k a week, or was it wrong? Because I thought it was wrong at the time. Now we're stuck with them, it seems. Now it seems now they're like, well, if no one else is going to pay me 100k, I'll just stay here, be part of the squad. And we need to upgrade this.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
100k is a lot of money.
Yeah,
it's mad money.
That's not far off. 400k a month. It's. I mean, you look at the average Premier League player and what their wages are. I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but I bet it's only about 30 grand a week on the lower teams, and then obviously you've got the big guns in front of that. But 100k, that's 200k a week on players that aren't playing. It's a lot of money.
The end of the day, we was in a position where we'd have lost them for nothing, and then we'd have had to spend 30-40 million pounds to replace them. We didn't have that money.
No,
so
I agree with that, Lee. But
in the case of having to spend on the wages, and hopefully they'd work out and we could sell them on, or they was going to be successful. It was the way it was because the club has been poorly run before that, 3 or 4 years before that. That's the reason, you know what I mean. And at the end of the day, Eddie, in particular, he had all the aces. When I go for nothing. And Arsenal couldn't really afford to do that, because if they let him go, and listen, if they would have let him go, boys, and then Jesus would have broke down, who would have been covering Jesus at that stage? So at the end of the day, it's worked out to a certain degree, but now we're in problems. I would bite the bullet if he wants to go, and Arsenal want to go and get the next player in, bite the bullet and take a little bit out. That's what they're going to have to do now.
Do you think, though, Lee, on that point, do you think that by putting them both on 100k, the reason was to protect their value? But actually what we've done is we've just kept them at the club comfortable, because now no one else is going to pay that much for them.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But if we'd have let him go for nothing, Dan, to replace him, you'd have had to spend 30-40 million pounds. That was the thing that you had to weigh up.
But don't you think we're in a position now, Lee, that if we take the money or a bit of a hit on it, that's still, 30 million, 28 million for Nketiah, 20 odd for Nelson? That's 50 odd million homegrown money straight in your pocket, isn't it? With Smith Rowe as well, all homegrown players. You're looking at 70 million into the account.
Yeah, and that way then you can go and buy your Jokeres. You can go and buy the player you really need.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope that's what they're going to do. Let's hope that's what they're going to do.
They've got 6 days to do it.
Well, we've got 5 days to do it. Make that 4.
Yeah,
the 25th today, isn't it? I mean, let's be real, boys. We're getting rid of Vieira on loan. He's going to Porto. Eddie Nketiah looks like he is going to leave potentially now to Palace. We've got to be saying up our sleeve, Russ. I'll come to you. Like, we must be getting players in now with these few days left, and we need more than one, Russ, as well.
Yeah, at the moment it's a 4 out of 10 window, because when we finally get Marino done, is it done yet? Is it still been waiting to be done?
Medical today apparently has gone well.
So that's 2 out of our 5 targets. We needed 5, in my opinion, minimum. So 2 out of the 5 is 4 out of 10 transfer window. And I just see one of the comments come up there. I can't stand this transfer any stuff anymore. Paul Reeves. None of us can stand it, because transfer windows for Arsenal fans, let's be face it, are bloody hard work. I wish we could go back to the days where we had a transfer window open in June and it didn't shut till March, because you could just buy players as you needed them, rather than this nonsense we have every year. It does our heads in. Do I think we will get someone in? Well, if we don't, we're not going to win the league, are we? It's simple as that. We're just not going to be strong enough over the course of all the Champions League games, League Cup games, etc., etc. We're just not going to have enough strength in depth. And we're not going to be able to play that football we played yesterday, which was like walking football for the first 45, 50 minutes in every game, because we're not going to be allowed to do that.
You're right. I think, for me, I'll come to you with this, Aid. You cannot get rid of Smith Rowe, Eddie Nketiah, Fabio Vieira, and potentially Reece Nelson. And then when you say who's coming in, well, we don't need anyone. We've got Wanyeri. Surely we're bringing people in. Surely we're bringing people in, Adrian.
Well, yeah, look, it's just frustrating, because last year we did it all quickly, didn't we? We got it all done and got it over the line. And I think even the year before we did. But again, it's just, I mean, I know we all talk about maybe 4 or 5 players in, but you can't look at. We've kind of got 3 in, really, haven't we? Because Timber, I know he signed last year, but the way you got to look at it, he ain't played all last year, and he's now playing again. So we've got 3 in. But yeah, we can't say goodbye to 4 players and not replace. So you'll obviously Moreno comes in, so okay, it takes it down to 3 that we need that hopefully will go out. But it's bringing in the caliber of player that's going to make our squad stronger. Now I think Ranieri, he'll be one of those players that will step into one of those if that do go, and he'll be a fringe player, and hopefully, he'll progress quickly. But he's got to at least bring in 2 to replace it if they leave. But at the end of the day, Nelson and Nketiah have got Premier League experience. We don't want to bring in any Tom, Dick or Harry, do we? He's got to be right for the club and got to be right for the team. But I do agree, if we don't strengthen it once we let go and bring in better players, yeah, I mean, we are going to struggle. But Dan, you come at a great point last week when you said about we went out early in the cups. I don't want to see that this year. I want us to see us go deep into the domestic competitions, especially the FA Cup.
We ain't going to, are we, boys? We're not going to.
It's tough, isn't it? We just go out tomorrow morning, we wake up and it all changes. But we'll see.
I believe Nelson will stay now. I don't think they've got a good enough offer, and so he's going to stay. So, if they're going to get rid of Eddie, they've got to replace him. And also, guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to get it out there. They've got to replace Jesus as well. Not reliable enough. One game in the season, not even started, and he's injured again. I'm sorry. I love him. Great player. But he's not going to be able, you're not going to be able. What happens if something happens to Havertz now? Not just say Havertz gets injured, going off on international duty and all that. You cannot rely on Jesus to be playing week in, week out, because he's not going to be up for it. If they do not bring in this striker over in the next week, in the next 6 days, forget about titles, forget about trophies, forget about anything, because the squad will not be strong enough to compete on all levels. It won't be. And every time you go on international duty, every time Havertz or Saka fall down, go on the floor, we're going to be panicking because we haven't got enough to back that up. And that is a fact now. It's a fact. I still think they'll do something in this next 4 or 5 days. And I'm pretty sure Wayne McKell was talking about it. It's going to happen as well.
When the game finished yesterday and Arteta did his little piece on the pitch, he actually said in the ideal world, we need 23 players. Well short of 23, aren't we? Let's be honest. Well short of 23.
Yeah. We definitely ain't got any more than 16, have we, tops?
And then Rob Seagal just made a good point on the chat there. He said that other than Trossard coming off the bench, what else was there that was going to actually frighten the team? Great point, or not my point, that was Rob's. But
only game changer. We had defenders that can contribute.
It can bottle a game up, yeah.
A game changer, we had one player.
Yeah.
And this is why I didn't understand why people were losing their heads. Big up to Yardman, by the way. I'm not going into debate again, but when Yardman said, our bench was still a little bit underwhelming, and Robbie was going in, I had Julian on my channel the other night saying our bench is the best I've ever seen. I'm thinking Nelson and Eddie are sitting on it. What are we talking about? The best we've ever seen? This is not the best we've ever seen. Trossard was the only player that can come on to impact the game. At the back, if you want to bring on a Tomiyasu when he's fit, a Calafiori, a Timber, a Zinchenko, go for it. But they ain't going to win you a game. That's going to see you out a game. I say, what, Jorginho, let's bring him on to win us a game. What's happening here? We had Trossard, that was it.
Look at our bench, Dan, how stacked it was with quality from defensive point of view. Calafiori, Zinchenko, you know what I mean? Like, Kivior is there, with Jorginho. We've got Tomiyasu that's not even in the squad at this moment in time. It is stacked, right? Where's the midfield cover?
There ain't any.
There wasn't. So Thomas Partey and Declan Rice get injured after 10 minutes yesterday.
Or God forbid, Odegaard gets injured.
Okay. Against a very, very good Aston Villa side. Who's coming on? Who was coming on yesterday? Wanyeri. Okay, he's good. I'm not saying he's not, but we're, and then up front.
Ain't enough.
Havertz come off yesterday.
Nothing. We would have had to put Martinelli through the middle and Trossard on the left.
One game changer. So when people turn around and say, yes, the bench was good if you got Jesus fit and everything like that, but he ain't there every week. He's not there every week. So you need to listen. If Arsenal don't, they will sign someone. I know they will. They will sign someone.
Who do you think they'll sign, Lee? Who do you
Lee
think?
Chapman. It could be Lee Chapman. It could be.
I fucking hope not.
Very long Lee. I don't know who it'll be. Like,
third time.
It's a good question, though, isn't it? Because I look at it now and I think the players we link with, there isn't one winger that I go, it's going to be him. Wow, get excited. There ain't one striker, I think, it's going to be him. Wow, get excited. If we were signing Nico Williams and Alexander Isak, I'd be like, wow, this is unreal. Arsenal going to go win the league. But we link with players, let's be real, we all want Gyökeres. We ain't linked with him. We all want Eze. We ain't linked with him. Like, what's actually going to happen here? It's going to be interesting, isn't it?
It will be, but listen, because you're not being linked with them, don't mean to say that you know, Arsenal do their business quietly like this. I didn't really know about Timber when it come about. There's certain other players, so let's just see what happens before we start losing our stuff, like, you know what I mean? But
of course, I've always said we'll wait for it to shut, and then we'll assess.
This one entitled to be worried, because what I'm worried about, guys, is I see a performance like that yesterday, a fantastic result, brilliant result. Don't blow what a great chance we've got of challenging for this title and winning it by not backing it up with a good squad. And that's my beef. That will be my beef.
Historically, though, Lee, this has been happening for 20 years now.
More than that, Russ. More than that. Going on since you've been an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
Well, listen, that's our rant. That's our moan. Now let's become more positive, because yesterday, Leandro Trossard proves to me why I love watching football. And he was an absolute delight when he came on. Lee, I'll start with you because you were there. If I'm honest with you, I think Russ is right. Me and my dad were watching it thinking this is walking football for the most of the part of it. And if I'm honest, if it wasn't for Roddy Watkins missing those chances, it could have been a very different result, a different game. But I will say, Trossard coming on completely made the difference. So I want to ask you two questions here. I was bigging him up last night on my channel, saying that he really reminds me in terms of movement of Freddie Ljungberg and quick feet like Alexander Hleb. He really reminds me of those two players combined into one. I'm a big fan of Trossard. Scored with his first touch, was phenomenal through the whole of that game with his movement. But Martinelli, I'm worried, Lee. I'm starting to get worried. It didn't look right for him. It weren't working for him against Wolves, and it weren't working again against Villa. And I think Trossard, with that celebration, is basically saying, I'm better than him. Why aren't I starting? And I kind of feel like he needs to now, Lee.
Yeah, maybe he does. I don't think he's better than Martinelli, but at this moment in time, he's in better form. That's how I see it. Like, you know, Martinelli's not in great form. Listen, when you're going about walking football, let's get this right. That was Aston Villa's tactics, not Arsenal's. Arsenal went there.
100%. Yeah.
They looked at it to say, look, you know, we'll get a draw. We'll take a draw if we have to. If we can nick a goal and win it 1-0 or 2-0, that's how they was going to play. So, a compliment to Arsenal. We had to break it down. Had to be very, very careful. And listen, he done it against us twice last year. Last season, they took their chances against us and scored. They missed their chances. That Watkins missed this absolute shit of that first one. Fantastic save from Raya. Raya makes a great save, but listen, he's a goalkeeper. That's what he's there to do. Fantastic. But I thought it was when we went 1-0 up, after that, I thought it was a masterclass from us. Absolute masterclass from us. And I have to say that Martinelli yesterday had good opportunities, better opportunities than Saka to deliver, and he didn't. I just thought his final pass was poor. Every time his cross was too far over and all that. He's got to get a little bit better. Work rate, industry, not faulting it. But when Trossard come on, the movement for the goal and the finish was quite fantastic, and he was really, really good. I will say this though, it did help. I don't know if it is Trossard or whatever. When we went 1-0 up, Declan Rice was so much better in that game. So was passing. We really like in that when we went 1-0 up, we really turned the screw a little bit. Like, you know, listen, I'm going to say it now. Anybody turning around and I've listened to a few idiots saying, "Oh, great performance." We've just gone out to a team that's top 4, Champions League this season. Bought some bloody good players. But I've not seen a player like that, Rodgers, for a very, very long while. Absolutely outstanding. Outstanding. I've never gone to a game and after 20 minutes trying to get on Google to see who he was. You know what I mean? Like, I thought he was sensational. But at the end of the day, they're a very, very good side. You've gone there and won, right? and people trying to, Saka didn't do this. So what? 2-0, stuffed it up them. And I'll tell you what's the biggest thing for me, coming out of the ground, Aston Villa fans coming up to me and saying, wow, you're a bloody good team. Now, part of that is they're deflecting because they've been beaten. I get that. But at the end of the day, they weren't doing that to me last year. They were giving it. This time they were humbled. They were humbled. And they knew, they said, what a very, very good side we were, And I'll tell you what was that. Declan Rice and Partey take a little bit of credit because at one stage in that game, that Rodgers was unplayable. Yeah. Unplayable. But we got to grips with him in the end. Maybe he tired and whatever, but Watson, if he ain't in the England squad, Lee Carsley deserves the sack. He's absolutely superb.
Yeah, facts. Listen, I'll come to you, Adrian, because I said to you via text that I thought he was the best player on the pitch, that Rodgers. He looked absolutely phenomenal. I actually looked and I thought, is that Jude Bellingham or is that Rodgers? Like, he was that good. He was impressive, to say the least. And I thought he was dancing around Partey and Rice for most of the first half. Obviously, we get back into it with a Raya save, which was a wonder sight, but we will be talking differently if Watkins puts them away. So what did you make of it? Because there's a lot of Aston Villa fans that I'm speaking to that are like, we deserve to win. If we would have taken our chances, well, yeah, if you would have taken your chances, then you would have. But if we would have taken our chances with Ødegaard and Saka, then we already would have scored 4. So I kind of see it both ways, to be fair. Where you at, bruv?
Well, it was an Emery masterclass to start with, I thought. He basically went with a low block, didn't he, through the centre of the park and stopped us from playing between the lines. I mean, you could see Partey all the time trying to put his hand up, try and go through the lines, but there was no way through. And I watched it again, and I watched it again this morning, and it's where I feel a little bit sorry for Martinelli. I totally agree with you, Lee. When he did get his chances in the first half to get around the full back and get a delivery, and he was poor, and he's certainly got to improve on that. And I agree that Trossard now needs to come in for him, but. Every time we have possession at the back, you see Timber invert, which takes out the option of coming wide from your centre back if our left back stays wide. And Villa had it spot on. The two forwards, they sat off and they create like a two central midfield players with the two forwards. And every time we tried to go through the lines, we couldn't. And there's a prime example. Everyone probably watched Match of the Day, but prime example, Nketiah has come out with a really good point. Is that where Gabriel got caught at the back, didn't he? And Watkins should have scored and he didn't. It was all because we kept trying to go through the lines. And what I wanted to see was maybe Timber not invert so much and then give the option of going out wide to him to then get Martinelli higher up the pitch, which probably would have helped him. But the big change for me, yes, look, your goalkeeper's there to make the saves, and he was outstanding again, you see. And you know what? He's taken a lot of stick, Ray, but for now, he's definitely our number one now. And it was a super stop. But what happened? I think we got about 60 minutes, didn't he? And Emery just changed it. He brought off, what's his name? The Scot dude.
McGinn.
John McGinn.
Yeah, he took off McGinn. And he basically, for 60 minutes, he stifled us. And Rodgers, I'll tell you what, he was outstanding in there. And what happened? We managed to get on the ball through the lines, and what it did, it forced Villa back another 10 yards, and then suddenly we're on the ball higher up the pitch. And then Trossard coming on as well. He got his movement's better than Martinelli. Martinelli's very much of a direct player, and he likes to go at the fullback. Unfortunately, he's not doing that at the moment, so hopefully his form will return. But Trossard's so much clever than Martinelli. He's got 2 good feet. And he delivered straight away, like first touch goal, wasn't it? But there was the thing is, look, guys, football's a 95-minute game now, isn't it? It's not 90 minutes, 95 with your added on time, whatever. And a game can be won or lost at any time in those 90 minutes. And
you know what? You make a good point there. And Trossard coming on was a great thing, but he changed it. Emery, it was down to his substitutions which allowed us to get through the lines and get it.
Yeah, because I think he thought, you know what, we've frustrated them. We've had the chances. They're at home. They want to get the points.
Yeah, they went for a little bit. Like McGinn was in there in front of Martinelli, stopping things going, stopping it all. Like same on the other side. Saka was very, very quiet. If you look at it, because he wasn't getting the ball, he changed it, and then we dominated. So you have to look at it and go, do you know what, Emery, and I've seen it a few times at Arsenal, messed up yesterday, and that allowed us to get into the game and coinciding with the Trossard coming on as well, and he done fantastically well.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's I kind of admire Emery a little bit because he's gone for it, hasn't he? But what by doing that is he's opened the game up, which you open the game up to Arsenal Football Club, they're going to destroy you, which we did. Once the Raya stayed done, I can't remember a shot that they had after that. We're all over him. So you've got to give Arteta a bit of credit here. He stayed in the game. We've got a bit lucky. Yeah, we can talk about there's times where other teams get lucky against us. That's football for you. But Arteta, he's probably seen that they've changed their tactics. Martinelli's probably shot as well because look, as much as he's getting a lot of stick going forward, but defensively he was outstanding yesterday. I bet a lot of people didn't see that. He was getting back, working hard, and doing all the industry stuff that probably helps Arsenal in a way to keep clean sheets. Don't get me wrong, our back four are amazing, but it takes the boys in front as well to do a job, especially away from home against a very good side like Villa. Again, our squad has been used.
I don't know if anyone else heard that, but I heard that.
It weren't me.
It weren't me, but I heard it.
I've been hearing that, but it definitely weren't me.
I'll tell you what I think it is. My son's just walked in the door and the door made a noise.
That old excuse.
He is, look, he's here. Look, there he is. Look. Come on, because it's a podcast.
No, he's all right.
All right, mate. How are you?
Guilty as charged, Charlie. Guilty as charged.
So it was on the door. But no, to go back to it is it gives no point. Like you said, we're only going to Trossard come on offensively to change the game. There will be games where Trossard will start and he'll struggle, and Martinelli will come on and he'll do the opposite. But he has got to improve going forward. I think he's just a bit out of sorts, isn't he? But
I'd rather have confidence, I think, in a moment. And I think for me, we've got to be trying to get him out of it. Fair play to Arteta. He's stuck with him. He's trying to get him to play the football that he wants to play. But yesterday he was struggling, if I'm honest. I want to move on to the defence, but Russ, I want you to come in because before we went live, you said I've got a couple of things I wanted to talk about. So you go for it, mate. What did you think?
Yeah, well, I just said there about Martinelli getting a bit of an hard time. He's not getting service. The team is very right-centric when you watch it.
It is.
Everything is probing and prodding down the right side. And when people start having a go at Saka and saying, he's having a bad game, he's double and treble teamed all the time. Every time he gets the ball, there's a wall of players in front of him. And he's got no option. There are times when he can push and run and just go up the outside, which eventually he did do and created 2 goals. Well, 1 goal for definite, and then one from the cross from Trossard where he was wide and by the byline and he got the ball back. He's good at it, and he can do it with his right foot. Whereas on the other side of the pitch, Martinelli, when you was watching him, he was tucked right across on the touchline on the chalk. As soon as Trossard came on, when you watched him across the park off the ball, he was coming in on the blind side of the defender and making runs off the back of him, and it worked a treat every time. The ball from Gabriel over the top, which started it all off. For the second goal, I think that was. It was the run made that. If he doesn't go to make that run, Gabriel doesn't put the ball over. And I like to see more.
Ross, it also coincides the fact that we were 20 yards higher up the pitch because
exactly,
go through the line. So tactically, Emery got it spot on to start off with, but apart from the clear, the chances that we created for them, really. Let's be honest. They had the deflected shot which hit the crossbar, and then the Watkins header that was a miraculous save. They had the mistake from Gabriel, which was Watkins' chance where he scuffed it wide, and then there was a chance when the young player we were talking about, Morgan, went through the middle, and Raya sort of tapped it out and caught it. Yeah. What else was there? What else did they create?
They didn't actually create anything in open play, really, did they? A few dangerous crosses, maybe. The defence looked really comfortable.
We won the ball superbly well, Russ, as well.
Yeah. No, it looked like a good European performance sort of thing, really, didn't it? It looked like that style of performance. I wasn't having a go about the walking football. It's just, if we're going to go away games, I've been crying out for that for years, to bottle up a game and not give away loads and loads of chances in a game. I've been crying out for years. But the point about Marino, about the new player, about him coming in is, I think that will balance the team better, make us less right-centric.
Yeah.
And I think that will be like the piece of the jigsaw that's missing that will help Martinelli get into the game more. Because Saka can do it on his right foot, but Martinelli on his left foot, he ain't so good, is he? He just ain't so good. He needs to always cut inside, and that's the difference with Trossard. And I don't want Trossard starting. I don't want him starting because he's so effective for us as a sub.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, that, with the Trossard thing.
Yeah.
I mean, when he does start, he's not as good. But listen, I thought he played well in the first Emirates Cup game as well, though, Trossard. I think he was,
against Leverkusen, he was outstanding.
I thought he was superb that day. And I think
he's the best natural finisher in the club, ain't he?
Yeah. And I think that might
that.
in the ump a little bit. Sometimes you do think, as a player, you feel that you're being unfairly judged a little bit or unfairly treated and all that. And I think maybe that's what he felt. Do you know what? I played really well in that friendly, and I haven't got the nod. So listen, and what's the best way to do? Sit there and sulk and flick peanuts at the manager, or get on the pitch and do the business? You know what I mean? So that's what he done.
Yeah.
Well, no, he did. He really did. I thought he was outstanding when he did come on, I must say. But I wanted to flip to you, Lee, for the defence, because I must say it was literally a tale with every single one of them. We saw Timber start, Calafiori come on. We saw Ben White with his shithousery. We saw Saliba with his outstanding last-ditch tackle.
Fantastic.
And we saw Gabriel, who mussed around on the ball, but other than that, was pretty good. They all had a little story, if I'm honest with you.
If I get a shirt this year, or the next time I do get a shirt, I am putting Benjamin White on the back of it, because what he done yesterday, I loved it. That McGinn knew exactly what he was doing, and I'll tell you what, he smashed him after that. And there would have been times when we'd have buckled on that, but we ain't no more. We're not an easy touch no more. And Ben White, he bit off too much he could chew yesterday with him because of that.
The difference, Lee? The difference? We are now a physically imposing team again.
Yes, we are.
We're a physically imposing team.
We've
not just got pace, but we've got power and physicality, and I love that.
Saliba as well. Oh, an unbelievable Saliba.
Oh,
yes.
Do you know what the best thing about he done yesterday? Do you know the best thing he done yesterday was not his tackle and everything like that. They got on the break on the first half. They cut it back, and he's just come out, read the situation, picked the ball up, and try. He's got pace. He's got power. He's got skills. He can read the game. He's got everything. And that moment there, he was in danger there. He just stepped out, read it. Oh, poetry in motion.
I feel like Arteta has completed the defence. I think now what he needs to do is look at the other departments, because that defence is solid, bro. Absolutely solid. I looked at John McGinn and I thought to myself,
Donna's having a little dig there. Loads of 29 shirts cheaply. I'm not having that. I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
He didn't have the best games, did he?
You can say the name, Donna, Havertz. You can say it. You don't have to say 20 more.
Can't say it. She's not a fan. You can't say it. I didn't think he was great yesterday, I must say. But I don't think we appreciate sometimes how young Saliba is and how good he is for his age. Because I've seen some top defenders, and you all have, right? I've seen Rio Ferdinand come through, and I thought, oh my God, I kind of get to that level with him. Like, what the last time I saw a defender that good at that age was Rio. And I'm like, that's a long time ago. Like, we're talking about the 90s now. Do you know what I mean?
No, I think Van Dijk. I think Van Dijk as well, mate.
No, but not at 22, Russ. Not at 22.
No.
You know what I mean? No. Van Dijk went to Celtic. He was playing at Celtic at 22. Do you know what I mean? Then he went to Southampton and whatever it was. For me, I look at him and I think, you are an absolute world-class talent. Like, there's no other word for him now. Like, he walk into any team in the world, and Real Madrid are sniffing round you. You know you're world-class. Do you know what I mean? Like, he is ridiculous. And I looked at him and I thought, you are we are going to have to keep hold of you. We're going to have to win trophies soon because you're going to go. Because, you know, I mean, Saka might stay because of his love for Arsenal. Saliba, I'm not saying he don't love the club and he don't love Arsenal, but when Real Madrid
that's my biggest concern, Dan. This project goes on and on and on. We've got to finish it. We've got to get the pieces of the jigsaw in to finish it and win something. Not do well another year and have another year of if buts and maybes, coulda, woulda, shouldas. I want to see. I want to see silverware this year. I want to see silverware, and I want to see the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle put in place. We've been patient long enough. Enough waiting.
Yeah, we have been. We have been. Mum wanted to come and say hello, Lee.
Lovely, it's loads of guest appearances tonight. I love it.
It's family. It's family show, isn't it?
Coming on, Russ.
Shall I get Lucy? Shall I get Lucy in?
Yeah, get Lucy in. Get Lucy and Jen in. Come on, give us a like. You know what I mean? Look, we are going into the Brighton game. And I'll tell you this now, lads, this is the hardest start for a long time that we've had with Spurs and City coming up, right? That game is a massive statement win. And I know people will go, it's only Villa, you're supposed to beat Villa. But all the rival fans around me have been silent. Imagine if we would have drew or lost this game. Arsenal can't do it.
Every opposing fan I spoke to thought we were going to get turned over the weekend.
There we go.
Massive we didn't beat them.
All the Tottenham fans that I know, all the Chelsea fans, I say, oh, you're not going to get nothing there. They're going to turn you over again. I said, well, this is time to lay that to rest, that bogey to rest. And we have done.
That's
what you've got to do.
Weren't confident, Russ.
Sorry?
There's a lot of Arsenal fans that weren't confident.
No, I'm never confident. But
so, that is a statement win, that is, then. Yeah. Statement win yesterday.
Facts. And Arteta versus Emery was being spoken about for the whole of the week. Arteta had to go beat him, and Arteta did. And I will say, I was sat there thinking, walking football, a bit like Russ. It was because of what Emery and how they set up, for sure. But actually, do you know what? I don't actually care now because we got the job done. It was 2-0. We got it over the line. And I know it weren't fantastic, free-flowing football, but it weren't going to be when they set up like that. And I saw it on Match of the Day, which I got a comment on, by the way. Every time we win on Match of the Day, just see they concentrate on the opposition every time. They never look at what Arsenal did to break them down. They all sit there and go, so Aston Villa lost. Shall we talk about Morgan Rogers and Emi Martinez and the way they set up and how brilliant Emery was? Yeah, we're brilliant. What was the score? Oh, they lost 2-0. Right, next game.
61%, 61% possession to 39, but they dominated the game for an hour, apparently. What were they watching? We were in complete control of that game, other than those three scenarios we talked about. We were in complete control.
I do this a lot though on Match of the Day. I know the pundits, they're struggling because they're all leaving and getting sacked. But let's be real, it is a weird program. And I used to be the best. Now I've never liked Lineker anyway, but I look at it and I think, not one praise for Arsenal ever, is there? You know what I mean? They really don't like us. It's weird. I don't get it. But
I'll tell you who does give us praise, Gary Neville.
I'm about to say that.
He does.
He does, you know what I mean, which is a shock, really. He sees it. He sees it.
I like Neville. As much as he was saying we wouldn't win the league a couple of years ago, he was spot on, wasn't he?
I was watching a few of the reactions, watch-alongs, and there's Man United fans actually physically being sick on the camera because we've gone 2-0 up, and you're thinking your biggest rivals are Manchester City in your city. And you want to see them do a 5-timer? Don't you want to see that broken? Or do you want to see another 5-timer? Are you mad? Because Manchester United, I don't think, are capable of mounting a title challenge. They're not, are they? They're nowhere near it.
It looks like it's Arsenal and maybe Liverpool if Slot can get it right. But other than that, it's going to be Arsenal and City again. And I mean, Man City, let's just be real. I know it was Ipswich, but with Gundogan coming back, Savio signing, and then they've just been linked with some other bloke to replace Alvarez that I've never heard of. This Icelandic striker, Oskarsson or something. Oskarsson. Never heard of him, but he's probably going to turn out to be like the next Julian Alvarez. So they have got the best squad. Let's be real. They have got the best squad. We need to do it.
I'll ask a question here, because we was driving up yesterday to the game, and it went, there's been a shock at Man City. Ipswich has scored, and we all went in the car 5-1.
It's like sticking a big stick in a hornet's nest, isn't it? You don't go out there and score. Just try and keep it 0-0 as long as you can.
It'd be fight, and it was 2-1 within 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like it was unreal. Like you know what I mean?
No one had faith, mate. No one had faith that it was going to be anything but. I mean, Haaland, by the way, just deserves a mention. This guy has got already he's only one hat trick away from Thierry Henry. He's taken him every 9 games he gets a hat trick.
Yeah.
This is scary, mate.
His goals to age against Messi and Ronaldo is more superior as well. He's phenomenal.
They've turned us into a farmers' league.
Yeah.
Unreal, mate. Honestly, he is. When he retires, if he stays in the Premier League, he will be the best player he's ever been in the Premier League in terms of from the striker position, because he'll smash all the records, mate. It's just ridiculous. I know Roy Keane said, he's a League 2 player. He ain't a League 2 player. Let's just have it right. He's a world-class striker. He is the best finisher that I've seen. He is ridiculous. Like, we're talking someone here that, don't get me wrong, Thierry Henry will always be a better footballer than him. Alan Shearer will always be better than him. Harry Kane even, you could say. But in terms of just putting the ball in the back of the net, there's nobody better. There is nobody better than I've seen. It is phenomenal, man. This is what we're up against.
23.
People say we don't need a striker.
If we had him, we'd win the league by 10 points, wouldn't we?
Yeah, do you know what? I said it last week, and I said it ain't about the main man, and it wasn't what I was getting at. But there ain't. City are lucky to have him because there ain't anyone else out there like him, is there?
No
one comes anywhere close to him. And you are right. If we have a Haaland, and people say if we have this, football don't work like that. City have got him, and they're lucky to have him, but. We do. The thing is, what's going to win us this league this year is simply that our defence will win us the league. It's whether our strikers can win us the league. And I know last week we were talking about Havertz, and I was kind of, I was bigging Havertz up quite a bit last week, and I still think he'll get 20 goals this season. But again, it's in the big games that matter, innit? And that was a prime example. Yeah. I think he had like 3 touches in the first half. It's clear that we need that number 9 that's going to just. I mean, if we could find anything half.
Havertz ain't winning us the league. Sorry, I know people like him. I know you like him, Lee. But
I think you're right. I think you're right there.
Henry done a job on him yesterday. I watched it very closely. Every time he drops off, one of them went in with him.
That's right.
They went in with him every single time. If he stayed up top, they kept their shape and all that. But what I'm saying is the difference between the striker like a Havertz and a Haaland is Arsenal have got to play well every single game to create chances and win games. City ain't got to play well. They can just have that. City can have an off day, and that son of a gun will get a hat trick. And you go, well, have we won 3-0? Yeah, because he's just won that. That's the difference. We haven't got that. We have to play well every game.
Yeah. In defence of Havertz yesterday, though, he didn't get an awful lot of service, did he?
Emery stifled him and stifled the front three. Yeah. Fair play to him, but we still found a way last.
And I think you'll find when City went to Villa last year, did they win 1-0 Villa?
Yeah, they did.
And Ireland never had a kick.
Yeah, so they do that again.
To be fair, Ireland didn't have a kick against Arsenal home or away last season, did he? No, it was Saliba ate him up. But listen, I've got to bring one other thing up. I'll start with you, Lee. Here, Declan Rice is a 6, ain't he? I don't think this 8 thing's working for him. I've got to say it. When we come back from Dubai in January, he played in the 8, and I thought, oh my God, he looks a monster. We were smashing Burnley, West Ham, Sheffield United, Palace, 4s, 5s, 6s. And I don't know if it's because he looks leggy, but I just think you're better as a 6. I just think all of his attributes are better than a 6. And I think that's why Mourinho's come in. He's going to be our 8, and Rice will drop back into the 6.
He may well do that, but I honestly believe that it's because he's not 100% fit.
Yeah, it's obvious.
That
obvious.
Is once he's
he ain't up to speed yet. He ain't up to speed yet. And you've got to look, we're only 2 games in here, and he's only been, and he had a 2.5 week break, 3-week break.
He looked a little bit leggy yesterday. As the game went on, he got better. Judge him in 2 or 3 weeks in the 8.
Yeah, I agree.
You think he is an 8 then? He's not a 6?
I think he's both.
Well, he's both, yeah.
Both as good as each other. I really do. I think we've got a player that can play both exceptionally well.
It's like Timber, isn't it? He's in that similar sort of fitness, isn't he? Where I think, we'll see him play week in, week out now. I think Timber at left back, swapping around with Calafiori, because I think Zinchenko, I can't see him getting back in. I agree, Lee. Give him 6 games, and once Rice is back up to speed in the 8 or the 6, he's just not. You can just see that his legs aren't quite there yet.
Yeah, he's gone down about 4 times in these last 2 games. He didn't do that all last season. He bounced straight back up. There was a time he took a kick. It took him a little while to get up. He's not 100% yet. He's about 75% at the moment.
But the problem we got is we can't drop him because we ain't got anyone.
No, he's not. I don't think he's there to be dropped, is he? He's what we need.
But I don't mean dropped then. I mean rested then.
Someone to come on for it.
He can come on.
Yeah.
I want it. I don't want him playing for those England games, resting up lot. But
he will, mate. He will. Trust me. He will.
Yeah, but I think. No, listen. I'm a the opposite. I think he needs games, Lee. I think he needs games to get back up to that speed. I don't think he's leggy because he's tired. I think he's just behind everybody else.
Freak of nature, yeah, I agree.
Listen, he's incredibly durable, and I love him. And 6 and the 8, I'm with you. I don't think that he's.
But if you think back, Dan, he weren't great at the beginning of last season. He come towards the first couple of games, and then boom, you know what I mean? Give him a little bit more time.
Oh no! Listen, I'm not saying we need to get him out of the team and all this. He's
I
not.
know what you mean.
Yeah, but I just feel like I personally believe he's our 6. I know he can play in both, but I don't see him in the. I don't see him staying in the 8. I should have started with that. I don't see him staying there. I think Marino comes in at 8. Yeah. Well, Partey was good yesterday, wasn't he? I mean,
those passes in between the lines and all that. I don't think no one does that better than him. You know what I mean?
We just got to hope and pray he stays fit. That's
exactly. Fitness.
Well, that's not going to happen, Russ.
Well, this is why you need a squad, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. That's why.
It ain't just a matter of a squad. So someone gets injured, and one comes in. It's so you can rest the player, so you can take him off on 70 minutes, and someone comes in, and there's no drop off. That's what you need. That's what City have got. They've got no drop off. Someone comes on, and sometimes they're better than the player they've replaced. They're not worse. I think we're still a way off it. I really do, squad wise, a long way off it.
Well, listen, that's how I want to close. Because for me, listen, yesterday, brilliant result, statement win. We've discussed the players who played well and the players that need to up either their fitness or their game. And I think for me, I'm not worried because I think in 5 days a lot can happen. I know that sounds mad, but it can. But I can see why fans are thinking, "What's going on here?" ? So what I want to do is,
Can I just make a quick point and just see something come up in the chat? And someone made a really, really important point in the chat there. If Rodri gets injured, City are not the same team. They're just not the same team when he gets injured. Normally,
they're not, Russ. But I'll come
not
back
over the course. Not over the course. Not in 1 or 2 games. I mean, over the course of 5 or 6 games, they're not the same team.
No, I agree with that, Russ. However, they've now sorted that out by one man, and we all know who he is because he's come back. So they're now sorted because Gundogan and Kovacic in a double pivot works for them because they proved that they've scored 5 against Ipswich and beat Chelsea with it 2-0. So I think they've kind of sorted that now. Rodri's not been there for 2 games. Last season he missed 3. They didn't win any of them. This season they've started without him. They've won both of them. So I don't know. I kind of feel like City have strengthened. If I'm honest, I do. I think they've got stronger, which is why we have to. If I'm honest with you. But listen, Fabio Vieira has gone on loan to Porto. We won't comment on that one. It looks like it's a good thing, in my opinion. Just get him gone. I don't think he's good enough, anywhere near good enough. So they obviously don't think he is now. So thankfully, he's now gone. But Lee, Aaron Ramsdale, very quickly. Southampton, Wolves, teams interested. Loan with an option, or Southampton loan with an obligation, but only if Southampton stay up, which I don't think they will. What's going to happen here, Lee?
I think he'll go at the end of this month, at the end of the window.
Yeah,
I do. It'll probably be a loan, but at the end of the day, listen, this could work out for us in a way. He has a fantastic season, and that will up his stock again, So I think he'll be gone.
Interested. Next player, Reece Nelson. Jesus apparently isn't out for long. Apparently, he'll be back after the international. So he's not out for months. I'm talking he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. What happens with Reece Nelson?
Well, if you could rely on Jesus staying a little bit fitter, you could, he might go out the door, but he's not going to, is he? Jesus again took a game into the season, and he's injured again. Again, it's who comes in for him. It's a really difficult situation we're in, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, he ain't let us down, Reece Nelson, when he's played, has he really? He's not good enough. Unfortunately, he's had his time and he needs to move on. But it's who you bringing in. I mean, I'm going to throw something out. I think that people might think I'm crazy, but it's not going to happen because of his wages. But I mean, I'd take Raheem Sterling off Chelsea just to improve the right hand side. I know he can play right or left, just to give you that extra in there. But ain't going to happen, is it? But I agree with Lee. I think he's going to be there, mate. I don't think anyone's going. No one's really sniffed around him, have they? Not even from abroad. And he's had a couple of good loan spells abroad as well. And there are clubs that probably would take him, but they just can't afford his wages. And
no.
We can't afford to let any more players in without replacing them. We
have to. We have to replace. But we
can't really afford to lose anyone now.
No. Who are you going to get through the door at this late notice? So that's going to be good enough. That's going to affect the squad more than Reece Nelson. That's so late in the window.
Ask Edu and the Cronkies and Garlic, whoever's in charge, because everyone knows what we need.
Got his personal number, ain't you, Gaffer?
Listen, I'll tell you what. If they don't bring anybody out, I'll be chucking him out of my contact. There you go.
We know what needs to happen. If it don't happen, it just makes January even more difficult, doesn't it? I mean, we're going to be up there in January. Don't get me wrong. We are going to be up there because we're a bloody good football team. But I'd rather get it right now, wouldn't you? So that we're set.
The last 3 January windows, we ain't bought anyone.
Well, I know, but exactly, it just puts more pressure on the club to spend in January, and we know teams don't want to let their best players go. And the thing is, we lost the league last year, not because we lost to Villa at the back end of the season. It's because we had those crap results against Fulham, also West Ham at home, and you could throw Villa in there as well, couldn't you? Away. So it's so important to have that good start where we kind of want to be in a position we were 2 seasons ago in January, where we were 8 points clear, because we don't lose the league now if we're 8 points clear, do we? Because we're that good defensively. So it's a massive 5 days, isn't it? 5-6 days, whatever it is, And but back to your question, I can't see Nelson going. But
where is it? What's today? So it's Friday. It's Sunday, isn't it? So you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it finishes Friday. So they got to do the business.
Yeah, they have to do the business. Absolutely. It looks like Kieran Tierney is definitely not wanted at Arsenal because he's injured. I can't see him going anywhere till January. To be honest.
Someone put that in the chat. I don't know what's going to happen with that then.
Well, I reckon he's going to stay here till January. He won't play because he's injured. But when January comes, I reckon he'll go back to Celtic or something, or I don't know, something like that. Because I can't see him.
I think we've got enough cover at left back, don't you?
Exactly. We've got like 15 left backs now, so we don't need any more. Obviously, he's going to go. But Russ, I wanted to talk quickly on Nketiah because there's rumours that he might leave still and go back to Serie A. Do you think that we need to keep him as cover?
Probably not. But only if he's replaced with another player. That's simple as.
Because obviously at the moment
he's another utility. He's another utility player, and he can play in
right.
2 or 3 positions. I mean, I think he's even played CDM, hasn't he, for Poland or something like that. He's played quite a few different positions. So
surely Palace down the road have got to take one of them because they're selling all their players, aren't they? And they're not replacing them. And Nketiah will be a good signing for Palace, I think. They've just got rid of Anderson. They're going to lose Gay, aren't they?
What about Eze? Couldn't we do a swap with them for Eddie?
Eze go. No way. They can't.
No, I don't think he's going anywhere.
The fans will go, there'll be billboards up outside. They're getting rid of the balls. It's crazy what they're doing.
But they get Eddie.
Look,
The
If they
saviour.
don't, I'm going to throw it. I reckon Palace will take one of our players. I reckon they will because
I think it'll be Eddie. I think Eddie looks like he's going to Palace. So that one will probably happen. But do you know what? I'd say, do you want Eddie, Nelson, and Nketiah? Give us Eze. Have all three of them, you know. But I actually think Crystal Palace are looking at Lacroix from Wolfsburg to replace Anderson, and they're looking at Arajo, is it, from Benfica, who will replace Gare, who's going to go to Newcastle, it looks like. So I think Palace will be right centre back, but they might want Reece and Eddie because they need a winger and a striker. So maybe they'll be interested. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
What other strikers are there available anywhere? That's going
Victor
to do.
Gyökeres. Victor
He's available. He's available, but at what price?
Well, Victor Gyökeres will cost you about 75 million, I think. Victor Osimhen will cost you about 90, and Ivan Toney will cost you about 50.
Yeah.
So they're out there. They're out there.
What about the fella at final? Is it Jimenez?
Yeah, Jimenez going to Forest now for 30 million. Because obviously they don't want Eddie. They want.
I heard rumours that Calvin Lewin could be going to Chelsea. Did you hear those rumours?
Yeah, Calvin Lewin. Yeah, but he's kind of finished.
Anyone's going to Chelsea, isn't they?
Yeah. Chelsea have only got 49 players. They want to make it up to 50 now. Chelsea apparently
contacted Lee Chapman. I know that, right now.
Gordon Stratton got mentioned as well, apparently, didn't they?
It is bizarre. I don't understand what's happening over there at Chelsea, but they did win today 6-2. So everything's fine. They're all good.
Might be watching match of the day today then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, match today won't be as fun. But listen, people, we're gonna come to a close. Russ, just last thoughts on this window. Are we going to get it right?
History tells me no, mate. History tells me no.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Well,
any
prove me wrong. Just prove me wrong for once.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Ross. It's history doesn't bode well on I'm getting them right, but I don't know. We're a bloody good football team. You know, we've got to remember how good we actually are. The way Arteta was talking yesterday, that we're light up front, it tells me that they're going to go big for someone. So I'm just, I just wish to do it. Just do it and get it done. But we'll see.
I'm with you. Lee, I'll let you have the last word. What do you think?
Listen, I think that they'll get somebody. Don't forget it's Bank Holiday Monday tomorrow. The most importantly, don't worry about the transfer window. Edu's having a barbecue tomorrow. Nothing's going to happen tomorrow. It will be.
You invited.
Happy Bank Holiday.
You said
Happy Bank Holiday, people. Listen, actually, before we do go, behind me, make sure you do email Russ, because Russ is who is right this way. Russ is who gets you sorted out with these. All right. So it's Russell Hogg Photography.
And they're not for free.
No, not for free. I will say that, but he will sort you out with them if you've got some money.
Got one behind me as well. Look.
There you go. Make sure you do email Russ at russellhogphotography@hotmail.com. He's got loads of merch, look. So make sure you do get Russ involved, and it will sort you out. And here we go. Look, he's got loads. We've got cushions galore, frames galore, canvases. He's got loads of stuff. So please make sure you do that. russellhogphotography@hotmail.com. We're out of here, people. Take it easy. We'll see you next time, and enjoy your bank holiday. See you soon.
I'm off to Bob.